Hey. What's up, everybody? Green Line Breakdown, Week 5. Glad you could join me today. How's everybody doing? I'm bundled up today, got my hat on. It's a little colder than I would want it to be, but, we're inching into the winter here, getting towards second half of November. Thanksgiving's coming up. Wonder if you guys are excited for that. Get to see family, get to see friends. Everybody seems to be engaging in their communities more the deeper the winter goes. And hopefully you're finding yourself not too excited to go out on the weekdays and you say, what should I do on this Tuesday night? And the Boston Celtics are there for you. We had a week. The Boston Celtics had a week. Not a great week, not a bad week, but I think it's something we can kind of see some benefit from. I think with as short of a week as it was only 3 games this week where you had a lot of fours the first couple of weeks. I saw some promising things. I saw some things I didn't like, but a lot of the things I didn't like at the beginning of the season are now kind of turning over. And what I think I'm seeing is a team coming together. And that is the best thing you can see at this point in the season. Right now, we're coming off of the Clippers game. I'm filming this on Sunday. We just played the Clippers. Kind of a tough matchup. And I don't mean tough as in the Clippers were tough. They're 4-8 right now. Kawhi hasn't played, and I want to get a little into that. But tough because you were handling them in the first half and made it a game towards the end. So we'll get into a little bit of that. We'll talk about past games this week and some of the updates around the league. Again, thanks for joining me, and let's get right into the weekly report. I think where I left you guys last week, we were in the middle of an Orlando game. That was the second matchup of that weekend with Orlando. We played them on Friday. We had a bad loss in the NBA Cup game, and then we played them again on Sunday. And I always like to see those back-to-backs with the same teams. We do a lot with Charlotte a lot of years, and we had this matchup with Orlando. And it's a great measurement to see what do you fix. Think of it as an extended halftime, right? You have a first half and a second half, but it's the 2 games. It really is a question of what is the coach changing from game 1 to game 2. You get to see more of a coaching game plan. How do I phrase this? The coach's decision making is the key contributor, I think. Obviously, players got to play well in the NBA, but you see a lineup, you see a team run through 4 quarters, and then you see them again 2 days later. It really is an extension of that game. And what it comes down to in the end is, what did we not do good that first game, and can we do it better? And they did, and the Celtics did across the board. 3 really good things I saw. Jaylen Brown, consistent, came to play. Derek White showed up to play for probably the first time in the year. Really feels like that. I mean, he just had a dominant quarter, came to score 21, I think, in the end. And it just felt like he was against a really good defensive team. But it made me comfortable about him turning a quarter because I think it followed throughout the week. He needs to keep doing it because we're expecting a lot of him. He needs to be a top 3 player, unquestionably, in every game from here on out, which is a high ask. But with what we pay him and what we expect out of him, if Tatum was here, he's the 3rd guy. I don't think it's crazy to say you get moved up to 2 and we expect just the same out of you. You don't have to be better than what you were doing last year. You just need to be what we expect, which is what you've been. And it's not like you had a major injury or anything. I know you play off of Tatum a lot, which is what is really affecting you this year. But you just need to get back and be comfortable. You showed up for that game, and that was good to see. You also got to see some of these bench players really kind of take a step forward to get more minutes. The big one is Garza, and I hate watching Garza, and he played a hell of a game. He was cleaning up the boards. He was putting it back, kind of keeping a defensive prowess the whole game. That is something I don't expect out of him. especially all season. I think that's unrealistic. But if he can have considerable minutes, even if it's only like 10, but they matter. Those 10 minutes matter. When you're showing up, you're making a couple of plays, you're making a couple of moves that affect the outcome of the game. You're good in my book. I don't need you to be a shot blocker. I don't want you to be like a Cater replacement, or talking in terms of the Celtic players, but like a major player. I don't need you to be that. I just need you not to suck, because the last couple of weeks you're out there making mistakes. So you're contributing to the loss or even a tough win. I don't like you. And Garza was big in that. And to see him kind of turn around, and I think maybe he's just getting comfortable. I don't know if it's in the offense or just playing basketball in general, because his first couple of years in the league, he isn't notable. To see him play like that, and to see Jordan Walsh create a really good shot and hit a shot at the end of the game like he did, that was good to see. It's these couple of bench players that we're not expecting anything out of them, but we need to see more. You know what I'm saying? It's, you got out there, what are you getting out there for? Fanfare? No. You need to make plays. You need to affect the outcome of the game. Even if it's in the smallest, most minuscule way, you need to do that, because you're on the team for that. You're not on the team to carry the load. You're just on the team to make the right decision in a single instance a game. And I don't think that's a lot to ask when you're a professional, when you're on an NBA roster. These guys that are tippy-tappy and make mental mistakes all the time, and it's hard to watch them. I don't get how you guys stay on the roster. There's so many guys in the G League that could take a spot. There's guys that play overseas that could take spots. And I'm always curious to, how do they stay on the roster? But they do. So while they are, make those plays, make those small decisions here and there to give me a reason to not close my eyes watching you go up and down the court. Another thing, not to hate on him because he played well, but Luka Garza, why do you run like that? Why do you run like somebody's chasing you? Like full elbows up and down the court like this. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up Luka Garza highlights. Very few of them. But I'm sure there's something on Twitter of him just like going up and down the court. He's full body, very awkward. I know he's tall, but I don't know, it just looks gross and like inefficient as a runner. I feel like it's slowing him down almost. Just he doesn't know how to properly run. I don't know. You're a professional athlete. You got to fix that. It doesn't look comfortable. It looks like you're not enjoying it. It looks like you're just like almost a robot learning how to run. I don't know. It's gross. It's definitely gross. Maybe don't look it up. I would save yourself the time. It's not worth it. Take my word for it. Anyway, then you have the Sixers right after. So we've played Philly twice already. We split 1-1. Maybe 3 times. Is this the 4th game? No, I think it was game 3. And I think this might have been the most tight game. It's tough to say because score didn't reflect that, I don't think, where you kind of had a sizable lead going into the 3rd or going into the 4th, and you kind of let it go. But it wasn't, your biggest problem is blowing leads as you do because you're so annoying of a team and you just don't want to hold on to those leads. But just from like a viewership perspective, it did seem like everybody wasn't playing terribly. I think Philly kind of just had momentum. I don't necessarily think you gave it to them. I just think they had it in them. I mean, Maxey played well. Oubre, pretty boy Oubre. Kelly Oubre, very pretty. He is the prettiest NBA player in the league. Pause, play. Anyway, he was playing really well. So I got to give him props. He showed up at the end of that game and just was electric. He is a solid player for that Philly team. He has been the last couple of years. Maxey is, of course. You got the rookie. And I think they're a very, very close team with you. No Paul George, but, he's kind of just a waste at this point. I think this is the team that they're going to look like they're going to probably move off of him at some point as fast as they can or cut their losses. I don't know. Or wait for him to come back and see how it works, but he's getting a little old. Yeah. Again, it always goes back to you really blew those leads. You should have scored. But usually it's from Brown dropping the ball or something that, something stupid happening. And I wasn't really getting that sense that that's how that game was going, but you still didn't hold on to the lead. And when you lose a game 102 to 100, when it's tight, it's devastating. That's a game that you like hold on to where you're like, we were right there. We could have won. We should have won. And we didn't finish. So you have to get off of that. You have to get off of it by the next game. If you carry over, you're going to have a tough weekend. You cannot keep that in your mind frame, your frame of mind. Philly outscored you 31-23 in the fourth quarter. 8 points. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it is enough that you shouldn't have let it go. And you just had guys pulling up clutch at the end. I can't speak to it too much. I've seen it so much this year that I don't know what I can say to fix it. I don't know what is the proper way to fix it, but you're not getting it done. Even when you don't blow it up on your own and blow chunks, you're not finishing strong. And that's something Missoula needs to look at. Because this is on a week that you should be 2-0 at this point. Now you're 1-1. When you're splitting these games and dropping these ones that you got to carry with, you should carry out a win with. It's really going to add up at that playoff record, the record before you're going into playoffs, and you might not be there. But you're too low to have a good pick, which is kind of where I see this team headed, and it's disappointing. Surely disappointing. This season's becoming a tough watch no matter how you look at it. It just seems like we're missing something. And it's not Tatum. I don't think obviously that's a huge loss. He is your number one, but there's just something about the season that just doesn't feel right. I don't know if it's because the Patriots are still doing well, where the last couple seasons they were unbearable to watch, and you just wanted to look towards the NBA right away. But it's something about it. I don't know off the top of my head what it may be, but yeah, it's not looking too good. And then you get past this Philly game. You have some time off. Weirdly enough, there was so much space between this game. Sorry. No, that's not true at all. Yeah, you play Memphis. That's why I think there's so much space, because you played Memphis. Yeah, no, they didn't do very well at all. They're dealing with their own issues. We talked about that last week, but just a not competitive team. And I think I said that. And you know what? You took care of them. So I think you are starting to get comfortable with your bench, with the guys who should be stepping up, with Derek White, with Brown. Pritchard's still doing what he's doing. Kate is playing solid. You got, my God, I'm going to pronounce his name wrong. Oh, it's a mental thing at this point. I can't believe I keep doing it. Minot, Josh Minot, playing like he is. You got a good squad going, a good loop. People are getting comfortable. You're 5 weeks into the season, and you take care of business. And I think when you have a team across from you, like you're going to twice, that you have an easy week coming up. You took care of business against Memphis, and you're 2-1 on the week. You should be 3-0, but you're 2-1, and that's all I can ask at this point. You had a lot of space in between that. There's really not much to say about that Memphis game. We carried it. They have Memphis on, I think that was Wednesday, or maybe that was Tuesday. I think it was Wednesday. And then you have no game Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And that's a break I think you needed. You were playing a lot of tight windows, and you got past that, and you play against this Clippers team. Now, There's no Kawhi. He's dealing with something. A leg. He's always got something. But this Clippers team's 4-8. James Harden's still playing really well. He scored 41 against Dallas the game before against the Celtics. And, they got some player. They got Zubac, and I like Zubac as a center. He plays very fundamentally strong. Can't think of who else is on this team. But you got some good players. At the moment, they're dealing with so much. I think you have to take care of business, and you got to get the win. You got to win every game, of course. But when you play a team like Houston, I'm looking at that. I'm being honest and saying you're going to struggle against this team. With Cleveland, you beat them, but I thought you were going to struggle, which you proved me wrong. But there's those teams, and then there's teams like the Clippers who you should probably beat the Clippers the way they are right now. And we did it. You did it. I watched. You beat the Clippers. But it almost turned into another Philly game. You had a sizable lead the first half, and you did not hold on to it towards the end, and the final score is 121-118 if you guys didn't watch it. But it goes back to that, why are we blowing these leads like we are? Why are we doing it? What makes you want to do it? But one of the things I saw in this game is kind of an extension of the week, which is these bench players are getting more time. Jordan Walsh, I think, started. If he didn't start, he got right in really early on and played fairly well. I wish more of his shots went down, but at the moment, he's doing what he's doing. He's getting those minutes. Garza getting those minutes. It's weird to see the starting lineup not get these sizable minutes. There's more of a split. They're expecting a lot out of the bench, I think. And they're getting them to step up. So maybe it's working. Maybe from here on out, we're going to see like good, solid round minutes from everybody. And it's just going to work that way. And if it does, credit to Mazzulla. He's the genius behind it all. So, but you got the win against the Clippers. And you really, if you're counting from that, it's 3-1 of a week between Orlando from last Sunday, Philly loss, Memphis win, and the win against the Clippers today. So you're 3-1. You've got a really easy schedule coming up. And we're going to get into that. But I do want to add a little bit of kind of NBA news about the Clippers because I was looking forward to this game. And Paul George isn't playing with, or sorry, not Paul George. Kawhi Leonard isn't playing with that injury. But is he really injured? I'm very curious. So for those that didn't know, the Clippers were caught in a scandal before the season started. Their owner, who his name is blanking right now, but it was one of the CEO, or he was involved with Microsoft with Bill Gates. He was like the co-director or whatever it may be. So this guy is a billionaire. He's got money. He's a smart guy. He's circumnavigating the salary cap, the league found out. And I'm bringing this up for a pretty big reason, I think. Pablo Torre, ESPN reporter, who's done some really good investigative work over the last couple of months, this whole year, did the report with Belichick and his girlfriend. That was pretty funny. And that was kind of the warm-up to then major investigations that he's done. And the big one that I remember in the past few months is this one with the Clippers, where he found that the Clippers owner was circumnavigating the salary cap. How he was doing that was he was paying on the books Kawhi Leonard so much money. I forget what it was, but let's call it a $40 million deal, right? And I don't remember people at the time saying, oh, that was a low ball deal or anything like that. Sometimes it comes into question, which I'll add in why, but he got the deal he got. That was what's publicized. That's what the salary cap registers. And, this was years ago. He signed that deal 2 or 3 years ago, I think. What Pablo Torre found was he signed that deal, but then at the same time, the Clippers owner got an outside company, some tree planting company, to sign a deal, media sponsorship deal, whatever it may be, give an offer to Kawhi Leonard of this deal. But what it really was a funded by the Clippers owner deal to basically add on to what his salary, so he was getting paid an additional 18, 20 million, I think. These numbers are off the top of my head, but it was a sizable number. And I bring this up for one specific reason. We found this out before the season started, about a month and a half ago, right? Before then. We have not seen any repercussions for that. Now, Kawhi isn't playing, but they say it's an injury. So I'm going to take their word for it and think it possibly is an injury. But he should be suspended right now. And the Clippers should have been fined. And I get it. The NBA is probably taking a long, hard investigation. And there was a bit of back and forth within the first week. Mark Cuban was defending the Clippers owner, saying, oh, this ESPN reporter doesn't get all the nuances of the contracts. He's actually getting this wrong and all that. But they did a deeper dive, and that wasn't the case. They definitely were circumnavigating the salary cap, which I feel like is a pretty big offense, especially with the way the cap is with us. With such a major effect it was over the offseason, we had to get rid of 2 of our star players, among others, to just drop below that second apron. And the Clippers are completely getting around that and kind of spitting at the face of the league, which is never good, but that's the way I view it. I think that's exactly what they were doing. Maybe they're really investigating if that is the case, but for as major of a deal as it was, it does seem that this was trickery by the Clippers to give him more money, and they should lose picks. Kawhi should be suspended for the year, I think, at minimum. The contract should be null and void, so I guess he should become a free agent, I would say. Maybe even more damage for this. I don't know. Out of all the offenses, this kind of goes in the same corridor for me as like gambling on yourself. It seems like a pretty big offense that is directly related to the league. Like, I understand when you commit criminal activities completely out of the league and you get your suspensions for that, but the team is pretty non-related to those, right? It tends to be like nobody's benefiting from this, where whatever it may be, assault, John Morant pulling a gun in somebody's face, whatever it may be. Nobody's benefiting from that, right? It's just somebody making a stupid decision and you should get suspended. The way I view these things is somebody is either circumnavigating bylaws or taking action that directly benefits somebody. When you gamble on yourself, you're benefiting yourself as a player or family members or, somebody. When you're circumnavigating the cap, you're benefiting the Clippers and yourself, because, you get more players around you for more money. Like, they could have used the money they saved to sign James Harden, although I don't think his contract's that big, but I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. Like, what you did is in the sport of basketball, a very high offense. Like, this is criminal to the sport of basketball, not in the outside world, obviously. Like, what's the big deal? Like, they tried to spurn the league rules. And I think when you do that, it's almost like we didn't need you. We didn't want you to be a bad person on the outside, and you're not. But within the league, you did a very bad thing, and there should have already been reprimand. And the fact that there is not, and nobody's really talking about it anymore, which I think is crazy. But I think at some point it will come, but it probably should have came earlier. They should have got suspended at the very least until the investigation was wrapped up and went from there. But if I don't see anything by the season's end, I'm going to be extremely disappointed in the NBA, a league that's dealing with gambling issues and off the court stuff all the time. Very, very offensible league always. It's just how it is. NFL's right up there with them, but a lot of guys always doing bad stuff. At least the least you can do is show up and take care of the problems that are on your own. that you have full control over to say, hey, this is one of our things you cannot do, and you did it, so we're gonna come full force at you. That's how I think of it. I'm curious how you guys think of that. Feel free to send me your thoughts and opinions on that, but just a little bit of like some thought I had when I was watching this game, and they say, oh, the injury report came up in Kawhi. It was like, it's a leg strain or something, which could be a lie, but again, taking them for their word. Crazy that nothing's been done about that. Crazy we stopped talking about it. It definitely needs to be brought up again. It definitely needs to be a bigger topic than it is, because, and I'll tell you, this is what I want to add on. When Kawhi signed that contract, nobody really said anything on like, oh, he's getting undersold. Like, why would he take a deal? Guys take deals. Brady took deals for 10 years, smaller deals to help the team, whatever it was. When Jalen Brunson signed his contract in New York, everybody said the same thing. Everybody said, wow, they're getting him on a deal. And Brunson's dad works for the Knicks. He wants to be in New York. He likes New York. I get it. But the NFL, the NBA PA, and the NFLPA, Players Association, they're usually pushing star players to get their worth. They'll say, theoretically, right? LeBron, don't take a deal. You got to be the top paid player on the Lakers. And you might think why? Because Brady was the star player, but took cuts to make the team around him better. The reason the Players Association doesn't like that is for a mid-level player to go and get the money that they're worth. Teams will come back at you and go and use that as leverage. They'll say, oh, well, hey, yeah, I'm an offensive lineman. Tom Brady doesn't get paid that much money, and he's the best player ever. You think you're worth this much money? And players associations don't like that. So what they normally do is push for a star player to get their worth, or mid-level player, whatever it may be, get your money's worth. At the very least, your stats are averaging this much with other players. You should be getting around as much as them. There's a lot of science that goes into it. But so when Jalen Brunson signed his contract, and it was considerably lower than it probably should have been, people looked at that and said, that's weird. Why is he taking a deal? But with this Kawhi Leonard news and story, there is some thought to say, are the New York Knicks doing the same thing? Are they circumnavigating the salary cap to sign Jalen Brunson? I would look into that. And I hate to say look into every team, but that is such a huge thing. I mean, this is such a story that is directly affecting your game. If you as the NBA are not under control of that, things could get crazy. And the world is crazy, but I don't know. There's players around the league where they're taking deals in a league where you don't normally take deals, especially not the NBA. And I think it's worth a second look. But that's my thoughts on it. It started with the injury report with Kawhi, and I just wanted to bring it up again. Going back to the Celtics and looking at the week ahead, you have 2 games against the Brooklyn Nets. And that's it. And then let me look up who you play on Sunday, but because you probably do play a game on Sunday. God. But 2 games against the Nets, right? A game on Tuesday. So you get a day of rest. And then you play them again on Friday, and that's an NBA Cup game. Brooklyn is the worst team in the league, I think. Or they're down there. They're definitely down there. They're 13. They're 1-11, but somehow they're 13 out of 15, but they're 1-11. You need to beat the bag off of these guys. This is a give me game. You need to lay it into them. You need to slap ass, lay it down, get your shots up, get comfortable. This is a great reset week. Like the record is what it is. You're 500. You need to beat the piss out of these guys the next 2 games. It's going to help you in the NBA Cup if you need the point differential because you lost a game. You need to beat the brakes off these guys. The brakes. I don't want to see them get up after Friday. So you play those, and then, God, I'm losing my mind here. And then you play the Magic again on Sunday. 6 o'clock game, which we probably won't even talk about next week. We'll probably be in the middle by the time I'm recording it. But you need to go at minimum 2-1, and I'll take a loss to Orlando. If you lose to the Nets, this might be a quick video of me tying a rope up. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, you need to beat the shit out of these guys, unquestionably. And if you don't, pray for me. That's all I can say. But that's kind of it. That's my thoughts on the week. I think with the loss that we had, there were good things that came out of it, and you won the rest of the games. And that's a good trajectory to be on. But we're still sitting at like 11, I think, maybe 10 in the East. We need to start building back. We need to at least be a 6 or 7 seed by the season's end. So get to that point. I think next week, because it's a very bad week, because it's the Nets, I might do a little different of an episode. I might do a round table, invite some people on. Let me know if you're interested. Let me know if you want to come on and do a little bit of a tabling. I think that would be fun. I think that would be a little different for the 5 people that watch this. Thank you. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to the randoms joining. I started the TikTok, and I've had some people, my viewership has gone up, and it could be people I know, but I'm going to say it's the people that I see that are coming from TikTok. The TikTok viewership is growing. So thanks to you. Thanks for the likes. I hope you're enjoying. I know these things are sometimes hard to get through, but I enjoy the support, and I enjoy talking about the game. For you guys, I have fun because some people don't, you don't catch every game, and you like to see where are we, what happened, what's the league up to. Probably being scummy, but you never know. So thanks for joining me. Hope to see you guys next week. And hey, stay warm out there.